It's come around so quickly, but we are now in round 3 of the Lakeside WDF World Championship. And it is a meeting that has gone to the seeds. The #1 man in the WDF system this year, Andy Baetens, a man who's scooped title after title. He is the man to beat, according to the bookies before the tournament, and judging by his start with a 94.8 average in dispatching Sebastian Białecki of Poland 3-0. 17 WDF titles are under his belt. He currently holds 8 of them. He is looking to reach the quarterfinals for the 3rd time in 3 appearances here. But Gary Stone had a very good game himself in round 2. And he is looking to spoil the Baetens party. Because we've got to round 3, we thought we'd double up in the commentary box, and I'm delighted to welcome back Gary Roderick for what should be a thriller.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to this one this evening. We've had 2 fantastic games to open the evening session, but this one by far is going to be the one to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is. Feels like it's got the most on the line.
41.
It's a chance for Gary Stone to put a claim to the World Championship, and beating the #1 seed would certainly do that. It's all about will Baetens react well to the pressure of being #1, I suppose.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot on someone's shoulders. You know, you do all the hard work through, like what Andy has done this year so far, title after title, and getting that #1 spot. So it's going to be something that he actually sort of needs to look forward to now and take that pressure and breathe it and live it, and prove that why he is #1. But Gary is is of course no stranger to this as well, and I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Baetens.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's already bettered his best effort here at Lakeside. He got to round 2 in 2012 before being beaten by Martin Adams, so he's gone one better. He was beaten in the first set of his second round match by an inspired Ricky Nauman doubling performance, but then he proved far too good for the Swede. Particularly after the break, he came out firing. This would get Barton firing. Leaves tops. Biggest checkout of the week is safe for leg 1 of round 3. Andy Baetens means business.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first.
You can see the little grin on Nick Rose's face there, knowing that he's taking it away from Charlie for the 150. So Nick will be happy with that to get the first leg underway.
Yeah, if there's one thing I've learned this week being at Lakeside, it's that referees are probably more competitive than players.
Yeah, it's all for good fun, and all to keep the spirits high. And yeah, you know, it's great to have the little banter backstage off the behind the scenes. Got to keep yourselves happy and keep yourselves busy, I suppose. But yeah, it's great to do that.
Has been a proper beast this year. Got to the final of the Dutch Open, which any WDF aficionado knows is an absolutely brutal tournament over a weekend where literally thousands of players enter. Came down to the final 2. Unfortunately beaten by Barry Van Peer.
60.
And the problem for Gary Stone is, with no disrespect to Ricky Nauman, he could probably afford to have a slow start there. He absolutely cannot with Andy Baetens.
No, and Gary, you could see Gary's reaction after Ricky took the first set, that he had to switch his mindset pretty quickly, and boy, he came out firing for the remainder 3 sets to take that victory. And Gary, yes, he absolutely got to have the right mindset going into this one. There's no doubt he's prepared himself mentally and physically for this one.
135. Gary, you require 140.
Gary Stone to land a big combo checkout of his own. He's not going to manage it.
94. Andy, you require 88.
88 should seem like no problem whatsoever. And of course it isn't.
Short on the second leg, Andy Baetens. Third leg is Gary.
Andy Baetens starting this game like a train.
60.
And Gary Stone looks dumbfounded on stage.
137.
Andy doing Andy things at the moment, just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Whatever Gary's doing, he's beating it, but he's got to match this one now.
You get the feeling the Scotsman is going to have to find many, many more 180s to topple this Belgian beast from the east. Second year in a row at Lakeside where we've had a Belgian as the #1 draw in the men's tournament following Brian Roman. Baetens just looks so likely.
100.
Never looks uncomfortable, Andy, when he's playing. He always looks focused, 100%.
80.
He's so clinical as well when he needs to be, which is why he's #1 at the moment.
124.
Treble 18.
He should stay there.
56.
First time in the game, Gary Stone might get a look at a finish. It might only be a bullseye. And it is. And it's just wide.
And you require 68.
Double 4.
Game short.
Straight in.
Set. Andy Baetens.
Andy Baetens
Second set.
already looking like a champion, playing like a champion. He's got that demeanour about him.
It's what he has to do, especially with a player of the capability of Gary Stone. You know, he knows what he has to do here, Andy, and 100% so far on the doubles in the first 3
91.
legs was just unbelievable. I don't know what Gary can do here, to be honest with you. I don't think Andy's going to let up and get into the break.
100.
Well, I'm sure deep down inside, Andy will have been pretty pleased to see Gary Stone beat Ricky Nauman because they've met 2 times before, came in the same weekend, both of them semi-final clashes, both of them victories for Andy Baetens by 5 legs to 1, both of them en route to titles, the Denmark Masters and the Denmark Open.
174.
There it is. The famous 174. If none of you know,
140.
Anthony Dundas is the big man for that, but unfortunately now with him being MC, he's gutted not to be able to call that score. But the referee's on a little laugh and a joke about it this year, so who can get the most. This would be huge for Gary if he gets this.
58. And you require 87.
Bullseye.
62.
First dart missed.
Now you require 72.
That's a very loose dart.
All his own doing. Just had to stay on the 16s to avoid having to bring the ball into play.
Let's have a double 4. Great marker.
Game short to the first leg. Andy Baetens. Second leg is Gary to throw first. Game on.
Well, Gary Stone has only had 2 darts to check out, and they've both been on the bull. And if that's all he's going to get, then he may as well put his darts back in his case and head off home.
Yeah, a couple of missed chances for Gary, really. You know, they could be very crucial, taking those legs just to keep himself going in this game. And but by the looks of things, it's going to be another quick fire 2 sets before the break.
140.
Well, even though we're 4 legs into the match, or 4.5, Gary Stone is already in the unenviable position of having to not just raise his own performance, but probably rely on Baetens dropping off. Now, for Andy to keep this standard going for the whole game seems unlikely. There will be a lull at stages, and it depends what Stone can do in those positions.
123. Gary requires.
Doesn't really have to take this guy to set it up for himself now with Andy back on 219. Which is a great setup.
37.
Yeah, there's finally a bit of breathing room for Stone.
59.
Double six.
12.
Gary Stone has not yet got going.
Just doesn't seem like Gary to be that far away from the doubles, you know, and just doesn't look confident.
60. Gary, you require 12. Game shot on the second leg.
As finally goes.
Third leg is Andy throwing first.
Made that look so tricky, and it was only a hold of throw.
140.
And Andy Baetens can do all this while using a set of darts that don't even look like darts. They're so smooth, it doesn't look like there's anything that he can grip on.
You'd be surprised in the grip that is actually on those darts used. You know, they don't look much, but there's definitely a lot on there, which I think Terry Jenkins uses sort of the same style. And Stephen Bunting at one point as well. So they clearly work for the players, and obviously Andy is very suited with them.
Seven want to be golden.
121.
Gary's just chuntering away to himself.
And you require 82.
Not happy with how things are going.
Top
62.
Oh. Chance for Gary here.
96.
Ooh, double.
76. Andy, you require 20.
Double 10 for Andy Baetens. Nudge himself back in front.
Andy Baetens. Fourth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Hang on.
It's been better from Gary since set one.
180.
Andy's scoring has dipped slightly.
120.
Andy's scoring did dip slightly. That was a 180 with 60 points on the floor. Hang on.
Here we go. Can he do it?
1990. Paul Lim hitting a perfect leg against Jack McKenna. And he'll breathe a sigh of relief because he's still going to be the only man.
That's unfortunate from Gary there, hitting the ball last start, but fantastic effort. And great appreciation from Andy as well. It's good to see.
40. Gary, you require 11. Seven.
After two 180s and a dozen darts, he's now in the position where he could find himself splitting double two, entering the madhouse.
He's got a little bit of time in his hands, but he doesn't want to take too much time, which he doesn't. Great leg from Gary.
Well, we venerated the Baetens performance, but right now, Gary Stone's averaging higher. Funny how things in darts can change so quickly.
Does in a blink of an eye, and here comes Gary again.
180.
We need to make the treble 20 smaller. Could easily fit another set of darts in there.
37.
Seriously.
100.
Great darts.
85.
Well, when the draw came out and we saw that Baetens was playing Stone, people you know, onlookers might think, well, number 1 seed against number 16 could be a bit tricky, but the number 1 seed should win fairly comfortably. Doesn't look like it's going to transpire as much as Baetens dominated the first set. Double 10. Gary Stone takes set 2. It is some response from the Scotsman, who looked to be on the brink of being annihilated.
Third set, first leg. It's Gary to throw first. Game on.
This is well on course to be the best match of the 2023 Lakeside World Championship. The scoring power, particularly from Stone, in fairness, has been absolutely out of this world. Andy Baetens has won 5 legs in a matter of 8 darts. But, Gary, I think the particularly frightening thing from Andy's point of view is that after Gary Stone emerged from the break against Ricky Nauman, he went into turbocharge mode. If he can increase his performance further, you probably have to look at the Scotsman as the favourite.
Well, at the moment, Dan, you can definitely see that, and sort of Gary sort of showed a little similarity from going 1 set down to Ricky Nauman, sort of unexpected. No disrespect to Ricky, but unexpectedly Gary sort of picked his head up and got on with the job, and that's exactly what he's done here against Andy. And I think it's set Andy back a little bit, but does it have to end?
58. Andy, you require.
Well, normally you can tell fairly quickly just how the break has affected players, whether they wanted it or whether it's hampered their performance.
78.
Early indication maybe suggests that Andy needed the break because he was facing such a barrage.
100.
Gary took his time to re-emerge to the stage. Players get 5 minutes to themselves. Baetens pins the ball.
On the first leg, Andy Baetens.
No problem with Baetens.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first.
No, doesn't look like it. I think like you said, you're right. The break does sort of help, and a lot of players, especially with Andy in that situation. And again, Gary probably didn't want that break, putting the pressure on Andy. So Andy's shown why he's number 1 and just came back out and got the job done straight away.
41.
He has not been beaten in a WDF match since the end of September.
58.
Raymond Smith was the man who lays claim to being the last man to beat Baetens in the World Cup last 64 match. Since then, it's been his name in the left-hand column every single time. I believe at the time as well, when Raymond Smith pulled out, he was the number 16 seed.
I believe so, yes.
So
I believe so.
There's that alternative history. If you are tuning in, Raymond, we wish you all the best.
87.
Would have been a fabulous addition to this year's tournament. But Gary Stone making the most of his opportunity.
85. Gary, you require 142.
Another treble 17. Gary Stone wants tops. The huge checkouts just keep coming.
Gary Stone.
You see a lot of players nowadays who are 142 in your hand, in front of you. They normally go the treble 20 bull or 14s route, but a lot of players now are looking at grouping darts more, and the 217s is such a big effort to take. Fair play to Gary there.
$135.
He's playing like a man who's won more than just the one title this year. It came in Romania.
80.
Classic final where he got the better of Mark Graham.
96.
Mark Graham did grace the Lakeside stage last year. Unfortunately, just missed out on the qualification this year.
100.
Yeah, you can always measure how good a tournament is by looking at the players who aren't here.
100.
Danny Lorby was the 48th and final men's player in the draw to take to the stage, and he blew away Jarno Bottenberg. He could easily be a victor this week, as could one of these two. To go in front.
60. And you require 120.
Tables have turned. Baetens might need to take this. Tops.
Game shot.
They're just egging each other on for fun.
Andy
It's like an exhibition up there.
Fourth leg, it's Andy to throw first.
Clinicality again there, from so clinical from Baetens. This game has got everything so far, and it's given the crowd here as well what they want to see.
140.
I'm just wondering if Nick Rose is going to have a voice left after this game.
Well, don't tempt fate. We're already one referee down today.
Best wishes to Christian as well, who I know is probably watching. He's a bit under the weather today, so we're all wishing him a speedy recovery. It'd be great to get him back on the stage with the rest of the team ref. But Nick Rose, in fairness, is stepping in and doing a fantastic job, as he has done over the last 14 years at Lakeside.
Lakeside's busiest man this week.
98.
To put Andy under maximum pressure.
140. Andy, you require 100.
Doesn't follow with a 180.
Gary, you require 100.
This would hurt Andy, I think, if this was taken.
65.
Great leave though from Gary Stone.
You require 20.
Just shuffles across,
Game shot.
and it makes all the difference.
Set. Andy Baetens.
Baetens, Stone, and then Baetens.
First leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on. $125.
I've always known he's been a super talent, Baetens, but he just seems to have changed his approach to darts in the last year or so. I've been hearing that he's become more professional in how he lives his life, how he practices, and it's making all the difference.
16.
Absolutely, and the one man himself, Phil Taylor, always said that practice makes perfect, and by the look of the standard we've had so far in the short 4 or 5 days we've had at Lakeside, and halfway through, the standard has been quite impressive from a lot of players. You can see that it's taken its toll on a lot of players here with the practice and effort and commitment they put in for this iconic venue and the event.
$95. 140. And you require 100.
Both players keep breaking each other's throat. Andy looks to hold. Needs the bullseye.
79. Gary, you require 81.
$12 or treble.
Well.
19.
Well, that really surprised me there from Gary. He had
And
2
you
darts in his
require
hand, could have left the
45.
ball, could have left 1 chance.
Game short. And the
Well,
first
Andy
leg.
Baetens goes ahead in this set, but
Second leg is Gary.
I've got to go back to that absolutely ludicrous attempt at double-double. I mean, can you understand what he's thinking there?
No, and you know, some players, of course, if they're very confident, you know, they tend to do that. But a game such as standard at this, and with Andy not letting off,
140.
Gary needs to take every chance that he can, and I think that might come back and question in everyone's mind why he did that. But only Gary can tell you that.
$140.
5 maximums now for Gary Stone.
140.
Nearly 6. Andy Baetens hasn't hit one yet.
Just shows the technicality of Andy. You don't have to hit 180s every time to win games, and it's proven that year with just the standard of scoring.
Game short and the second leg.
12 dart leg from Gary Stone.
Fourth leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
But that's what Gary can do. You know, he has a leg like the last one, missing that opportunity and coming straight in with a leg like that.
137. $134. $125.
Baetens in command. Because Gary Stone won the bullseye, us being in the 4th set means that Andy is going to have the darts throughout. So if we do go to a 5th leg, it is Baetens in the driving seat.
The pull-ups are so important for the players, you know, especially if it gets to that stage of the match where it's a deciding set, deciding leg.
100.
Having the throw is so important. But I'm sure Andy won't want to get to that situation. I think he wants to get this wrapped up as quickly as possible.
I couldn't resist telling the funny story about the Lorby Bottenberg bull-up in the first match.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Andy, you require 96.
Double 8. Andy Baetens is 1 leg away from a place in the Lakeside quarterfinals.
Fourth leg, it's Gary throwing first.
Has to start well here now, Gary. Keep that little hope alive. We're only 60. Can Baetens capitalise on that?
99. $100. $85.
More mid-90s averages. Stone is still just about in front, but
43.
he would obviously sacrifice a high average for a W next to his name.
$140. $140. $60. Gary, you require 158.
You won't put it beyond him.
100. And
Yeah, it's another
160.
strange decision. I mean, he might get away with it.
He might have.
51. Gary,
Hitting the treble would have left double 9.
Game short and the fourth.
Nerves of steel from Gary Stone,
Fifth leg, it's Andy throwing first.
but he is now relying on snookers. He's relying on Baetens to have 3 or 4 slack visits to the board. 99 is an okay start.
140.
Great follow by Gary.
This is where he's really improved his game over the past 12 months as well. Board management,
92.
counting. There was a time where he'd have just gone straight for the 20s and maybe left 162.
So important to have ball management when you're a player, especially at this sort of part of the game now where it's so important just to leave yourself something, even if it is the big fish or 161 or whatever it is, just to give yourself that 3 darts in your hand of a chance. That's a fantastic setup, and another 174 for Nick Rolls.
It could be his penultimate visit, and it's his first 3 big treble visit.
And you require 36.
Double 18. Wow. But double 9 is there. Andy Baetens, for the 3rd time in a row, is through to a Lakeside quarter-final.